Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the stream. I hope you've had a fantastic week and weekend tonight. This evening we're going to be flying in the Cessna Citation X on X-Plane 12 from Nice in the south of France, and we're going to be flying to somewhere in Italy, can't quite pronounce it, and then we'll be flying on to Milan. So a bit of a stopover just so we can make sure everything's alright and drop off. I think one or two guests are going to be hopping off there. But this is a VIP flight. The aircraft itself, after some consideration and a little bit of playing around with it, a few flights have been completed offline, off stream, and I've decided it's definitely one of the best planes on the game, and in general, fantastic thing to fly. Sitting outside on the ramp, of course, it looks very slick and it's very, very cool. We are going to be flying on, hopefully, with some ATC tonight. I've got the flight plan filed. Any issues with the stream, let me know. I have changed some settings since the last one because unfortunately we did land. As you remember, the last stream landed absolutely fine, and then some reason, as I was taxiing to the gate for the end, it was buffering and lagging, so I suspect it was because the frame rate may have been too high for the stream to cope with. So I've limited the frame rate down to 65 in the hope that it doesn't happen again. But any issues, and of course feedback is welcome. So we're on the ramp. We're going to hop in. The door's already open. I think the guests are just about here, so we'll go ahead and slick round. You'll notice there's a different livery as well. I changed it back to the standard Citation X paint job. Of course, the default tail number is never going to be able to change. We are in fact Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango today, and the cool thing about this plane, there's no cockpit, so you have full interactability with the guests. Okay, first things first, we'll hide the yoke, we'll get the emergency power on. So standby power test, standby power on, emergency lights on. Tonight we're probably going to be flying the entire thing in the light, so no sunset and no other issues. I'm going to connect to VATSIM now just to make sure everybody's online. I'm pretty sure there will be in Nice. It's been quite a busy airport recently in terms of VATSIMers. I mean, just looking at the map now, we have quite a few aircraft here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably airliners, of course, we're in the Citation. Now, planned departures from 4 left, 04 left, this runway. And the arrival will be to 28 on the next place. But before we even get there, just my offline experience of the actual area was fantastic. There was a stream previously where I went to Monaco and the scenery was really, really bad and really disappointing. Well, this other place has not just fantastic scenery, but it looks like Monaco, so that's why I've chosen it as a destination. We have ATC available, but it's the approach. Maybe we'll have to contact the approach for our clearance. We have got ATIS as well. I won't note it down just yet because we're still starting the aircraft, so let's get batteries and stuff on. Avionics, so you want to see the systems and get the APU started. Now, we were supposed to be scheduled to depart in about 45 minutes, but I've started early as usual. Getting into the habit of starting early because I had a bit of free time. Let's get the APU on. Now, two-manned aircraft. Co-pilot is with me. We have 8 guests on board. There's only 8 seats for them, and we have 1 flight attendant. You should be able to hear the APU there. Very, very loud on the plane. Yeah, it's one of the loudest ones on an aircraft I've ever heard. So we've got ready to load. So we're going to put the generator on. You'll see down here, switch the navigation light so we can other people will know we're working on the aircraft. We'll switch the auxiliary pump on just a second for the hydraulics, just to power up the system, give the controls some power there before we go. Okay, bleed valve open. About 20 degrees in the cockpit. Let's put it on max cool. Cab packs on. It's quite warm, so about 18-19 degrees here, so it's very, very warm. I'll get the initialization started. So I've loaded it. pre-downloaded it so we can preload it in. Just got to remember which one it is, because we have two similar flight plans in the system. There's one. I don't know if this is the right one over here. I did change the name of it so it was a different one, so we'd recognise it. If I activate it, let's just check that it's the right departure. So we want the Bassett 7 Alpha departure. Navigation, departure. So we're runway 4 left. Might have to do this myself. Seems like the right flight plan. There's the arrival. Ixito 1 November we need. We can always change it. Yeah, Gikut. So that's Gikut. Very strange name, but that's our arrival as well. So that's that done. You can also confirm it on the map. Bit far though to see. It's only a 20-minute flight. It's just worth checking anyway. So what do we need to do? We need to initialize our performance. We're already preloaded. We can go ahead and shut the door. There we go. Door shut. That's probably why it was so loud on the APU. Fuel today we have. I've put extra in. We're supposed to have 1800, but we need extra because we're continuing on to Milan afterwards. Cruise altitude is 130, so 13,000 feet. Fuel. Take off. Now on the flight plan it gave me 15 degrees of flaps, which I've not been doing. I've only been putting 5 degrees in. So we'll go and put 15 in and see what. It can't change it, so 5 degrees must be the correct one. The flight plan must have been a bit off. There's the V speeds, and of course all the other information will be in there as well. Great. That's very quick to do as well. It's a very quick airplane to start up and load up. Unlike the 737 where you have to wait, and you have to wait for passengers and fuel. This one takes, you know, a second to do because there's no IRS alignment, unlike the 737s. Okay, there's the landing references, so we'll probably be landing about 130. I've done the ILAS here a few times now, so I'm hoping, you know, this is going to be as good as the one I've done offline. Stick the fuel boost on. We can't really do much. In fact, I won't put a fuel boost because we can't do much until we've got our clearance. We'll go ahead and get some clearance. It's 129.605 for the ATIS. So give us the QNH, but I've already got it. It's 1014.
6,000, temperature 17, 2.13, QNH 1014. Trend,
See?
no significant
Audio.
changes. Confirm on first contact information November. Received.
November, information November, and then approach is 134475.
Airport information November recorded at 1630 UT.
I'm assuming we contact the approach.
Alpha runway 0 for left arrival, runway 0 for left departure, runway 0 for right departure, 7 Alpha. So
we got the right departure as well. Welcome in, by the way. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. Your damper on.
Visibility 10 kilometers or more. View 1,200. Ceiling bricks 1,000. Temperature 17. 2.13. QNH 1014. Trend. No significant changes. Confirm on.
It doesn't take long to do that, so we don't really need to listen to it over and over. Unless you want to get the information we need to give the ATC. I always wonder why you have to do that. I suppose it's so we could tell them that we got the most up-to-date ATIS information. Obviously, if we don't, we won't be able to. We might have the wrong QNH or departure or something. Okay, so departure is going to give us our departure. Sorry, approach is going to give us our departure. That's kind of handy. I'm just trying to think what I need to do. Bear with me a second. Okay, just having a listen to the ATC there. VATSIM. Let's send him a message. We might have to do. There's a strange thing here when in the past I've had to file my flight plan time departure on a separate site. Let's do a radio check. Anyway, we're parked at Victor, Stand Victor. If we look outside, we can see we're at Papa Victor there. Of course, we've got other aircraft in the vicinity. I don't know if you can see them. Another aircraft behind there taxiing. I think that's Lion Airways. And then we got one on takeoff over there. Let's have a look outside the cockpit instead. So we got Iberia. He's just going on his roll now. Okay, let's set our altitude so we can program this 13,000 feet. And I believe we can select on this one the navigation and vertical navigation. Right, I think that's correct. Your damper, let's give them a call. Good evening, Nice Approach. This is Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. Good evening, mic check.
Hello, Charlie 22 Fox Tango, loud and clear.
Awesome. So ATC is available. That's fantastic. I'm going to keep flying into Nice, of course. It's one of my favourite airports. And now I know there's ATC available. I'm going to continue to fly into it probably more often than not. If you're wondering what's going on, we're just about to file our flight plan with ATC.
DN submit tot at CDN. VATSIM. FR transition level 60. When come, variable between 030 and 090 degrees. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. View 1200. Ceiling broken to 6000. Temperature 17. 2.13. QNH 1014. Trend, no significant changes. Confirm on first contact information November. Received.
Okay, so information November. Just double checking that. I hope we're not going to have to fire that time thing I was mentioning. We might have to. I hope he gives us the departure that we filed. Right, who are they departing for, right? We do have 4 left on our flight plan, so I'm hoping we can depart from the planned runway. I'm pretty sure that's where people are going from. No, they're all avoiding it, so if we need to, we can change. Let me just double check. Flight plan, 4 left, 04 left, and then London 0428.
Confirmed, push and start. Nice approach, bonjour, red nose 2640 inbound for the ILS approach 0 for the left, board 7 Romeo arrival. Nose 3640, bonjour, left heading 250, RNP Alpha 0 for left, descend level 100.
Okay, so people are arriving 4 left.
Information November recorded at 1630 UTC. Expect RNP Alpha then VP. ET Alpha runway 0 arrival runway 0 for left departure runway 0 for right departure 7 Alpha. Event notices to air missions mandatory.
Let's just change that runway.
CDN submit tot at CDN.
Yeah.
3 knots, climb level 170.
Same departure, just a different runway. Right. We have an aircraft coming. I'm just thinking we should wait and watch. He's not going to be long. He's coming in the ILS now. You can see I'm just looking for him on the map. I think this is him down here. So he's quite close.
Reynolds 3640, yes. Have you looked at I did just a second ago. This has something severely changed, Rednose 3640.
So for the ATIS, you have to look at the ATIS prior to arrival. So it means prior that you contact me, you should have the ATIS, and now it's been quite a while since I'm open. So while listening or before listening, you should have taken the ATIS. So that's not the ILS in use. First, that's the RMP Alpha. Then second, you should have not proceeded direct to Neras without my instruction. You are in my airspace. And third, you penalized yourself because you proceed to a waypoint very south of my airspace. So that's not something that will shorten your approach.
Yeah, my bad. I'm using VATSIM radar to see if you're online or not, and it didn't pop up until it has still not popped up.
We have VATSIM issues.
Sorry for that, Rednose 3640.
Yeah, but your use is very glasses, so you have to select first. Try to select level 0, which helps you. And if you see an ATIS connected, it certainly implies that someone is certainly connected.
Oh dear, I think he's getting a bit of a telling off. Pilot has done a quick one.
1000 feet, 1014, let me know when you are ready for the RNP Alpha 04 left.
RNP Alpha 04 left, descending 1000 feet.
Blimey.
And now I call you when we're ready, Rednose 3640.
Okay, that was tense, but interesting. I suppose the ATC is just informing him.
Yeah, I want to get a Papa on 14. So far to you.
If I want to kill Papa, 1228, bye.
1228, thank you so much, bye.
Minus 3640, left heading 220.
Left 220 with 3640.
Volatility at 2647 identified, direct Orcac.
Direct Orcac and identified, volatility at 2647.
Ah, c'est encore la musique, c'est chouette.
Ouais, on a des vrais travaux, c'est ça.
J'aurais tête au carré.
There.
Ryanair 26 Papa Nice.
Right, let's try and get our call in. I was just distracted them, just reading some things. Let's try and do this. Needs approach, good evening. Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango, parked at Stan Victor with information November. I'm ready to copy an IFR to Genoa Airport.
Charlie 22 Fox Tango, expect to base 7 Alpha, score 1000.
Okay, very simple call back there. Expect the Airbus 7 Alpha departure and squawk 1000, 2 Foxtrot Tango.
Correct.
I'm loving this airport. It's just fantastic. The ATC as well are really good.
For 04 left into Nice.
Ryanair 26 Papa Nice, bonjour, score 1000.
Loving it. Anyway, we're gonna get our pre-departure clearance in a second. It'll be engine start up and then straight out departure to straight taxi to runway 04 right.
Ryanair 3640, ready to resume to Bispo.
Yeah, we're ready to turn to Bispo 3640. We're ready for the RMP 04 left.
Ryanair 3640, roger, turn the right heading 290.
Right turn to 90, Rednose 3640.
Generators can come on. We're ready to start just about. Engines, fuel boost, norm. I don't know if you meant to have them on or norm. In fact, I'll stick them on for the engine start, and then ignition's for some reason already on normal. Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango, parked at Victor with information November, ready for push and taxi. Start and taxi. Make some more words there, calling it a push and taxi. Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango.
Charlie Fox, 22 Fox Tango, taxi Alpha 1 on short, 04 left.
Taxi Alpha 1 holding short, 04 left.
Ryanair 126 Papa, left heading 100, descend level
Okay,
8.
so he's actually given us the 04 left departure. That's quite nice of him. So I changed it for nothing. Very cool.
Descend level 80.
Massive 7 Alpha.
Level 80, Ryanair 26 Papa.
Ah, no, my mistake. I'm getting a bit mixed up here with the runways. I think he's just making us hold short. Right, my mistake. I'm jumping the gun a bit. Right, let's get the engine started.
Ryanair 5 taxi Charlie, uniform, offshore for 1.
Here we go.
Say again, last taxi instruction, Ryanair 58.
Ryanair 5 taxi Charlie, uniform, hold short, Alpha 1.
Taxi Charlie, uniform, hold short, Alpha 1, Ryanair 58.
Okay, a lot of people going Alpha 1. We've only got a simple runway down to... he said Alpha 1, so I'm assuming it's... Well, he's saying hold short Alpha 1. I'm thinking here, possibly. Blimey, I don't want to get lost on this. So there's Alpha. Ah, there's Alpha 1 up there. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to deploy our flaps. Get the throttles up. That's why.
Clear RP Alpha 04 left, direct Bispo, red off 3640.
So flaps are deployed, so we can trim into the green zone. We're probably going to be passed off the Unicom after this. It'd be nice to have a ATC at the airport, but we likely won't. It didn't clear us up to a certain altitude, so I'm assuming we've cleared up to 13,000 feet, which is ideal. Apologies, I've been a bit quieter than usual. I'm just taking my time on this to make sure everything is correct on the aircraft. Okay, engine 1 started. Get that beacon light on and taxi lights. Let's turn that APU off in a second. Quite warm in the cabin. Okay, I'm having some issues with my controller as well. I apologise, it keeps disconnecting. I'm using an Xbox controller. It's a very good controller for the plane and for this game in general, but it's a wide connection, so just be wary if you've got one, it might disconnect. Right, engines have started, we've got generators on. We can safely turn off the APU. So turn the bleed air. Yeah, that's fine. Perhaps we should leave the APU generator on until the APU shuts down. So this frequency 109.3 is actually the approach for runway 28, which is the destination airport. We've been giving taxi clearance, so we can do that in a second. Turn that off.
Oh, apologies, 1 sec.
Right, we're ready to go. Your damper on. Cross check. Clear left, clear right. Okay, we've got to be cautious here. There's other traffic. Our aircraft is very, very fast. We have power of the sun in these engines. Very cool airline in front. Not seen that before. I'm pretty sure this is where we're supposed to taxi. We are going down Tango to Alpha 1, I believe. This holding point down here. Because it's warm, we don't need much thrust, it'll be relatively quick. So there's Alpha 1 down there.
Turn left.
Left heading 090.
cautious of other traffic. That's holding point Alpha 104 left. We'll go ahead and shut our engine to idle and we'll just wait behind the aircraft here. We might even see that aircraft landing on final. So we'll go ahead and stop here. Let's check the map. Nothing coming on final at the moment. I don't think this is holding point. There's the runway. It's not the best holding point for the runway, I have to say. I mean, we got clearance. Sure, we're passing behind at the landing spot, but surely putting the holding point a bit further back where I am would be more appropriate. Just wait for him to give his call, and then we'll get going.
Ryanair 58 ready for takeoff.
Ryanair 58 cross runway 04 left, whiskey, hold short, whiskey 3, runway 04 right.
I'm going to make note of that. That'll be the same one for us.
Hold short, whiskey 04 right. Ryanair 58.
Probably be whiskey 1 for us.
Tango cross 04 left, whiskey, hold short, whiskey 3, runway 04 right.
Pull our aircraft in front. Whiskey down to whiskey 3, Golf Tango Victor. Golf Foxtrot Tango. Look it on. Excuse me, I've given the wrong call sign. No! I didn't expect him to have me off guard then with the follow the aircraft. Oh my. That's a bit embarrassing. He's going to wonder who or what on earth is going on. He's going to whiskey 1, we're going down to whiskey 3 anyway. I think I've got my notepad. It's nice and big and it's on my lap, but it's a bit of a pain having to juggle the, you know, controller and the pen and the notepad and the things, so I have to work on it. Okay, controller's broke.
Bonjour Ryanair 2898, maintain level 100, RNP Alpha 04 left, continue present heading.
I think whiskey 3 is going to be straight ahead. Can't see it though. Cannot see it. There's whiskey 3 down there, I think. Got whiskey and then we got whiskey 3. There's Alpha 3. There's whiskey 3. Good thing I've got it in sight. I was a bit worried. Ladies and gentlemen. So I can hear them in the back there discussing business. Here we go. Oh shit. Oh my god. I'm getting so concerned about this controller. It keeps disconnecting. And when it disconnects, I can't do anything other than use the keyboard. Right, for some reason... After departing, Ryanair lined up runway 04 right, Charlie Foxtrot Tango. Okay, he's calling himself Ryanair. That might be what's throwing me off a little bit. He's someone there to me. I don't know if you knows that or not. We're going down whiskey 3 anyway, so we're not quite to the end. Okay, one on landing, one taking off. This is very close. Although he's on the wrong, excuse me, he's on a different runway. There he is now. Let's take our strobe lights on.
Il s'approche. Bonjour, French Baguette 98, Charlie, Sierra. Baguette 98, Charlie, Sierra, salut. Bonjour, Duke, parking 47 Alpha. Information Oscar pour Montpellier. Baguette 98, Charlie, Sierra, Zurich 7 Bravo, transpondeur 1000. Zurich 7 Bravo, transpondeur. Army 2 French, Bayette 98, je te remercie.
Landing lights, taxi lights off.
Prépare la mise en route technique French, Bayette 98, je te remercie. Bayette 98, je te remercie. Mise en route approuvée, rappelez pour rouler. Mise en route approuvée, rappellera après pour rouler.
Go ahead and stop there.
98, je te remercie. Et pour info, Bravo 3 est dispo, tu auras 2157 mètres si intéressé. Ok, oui, intéressé, on va dire.
Hopefully I can give the correct call sign.
Copy. Ryanair 2898, turn left heading 100, descent level 80.
We're cleared straight up to 13. We just had an aircraft landing. Don't know if you can see it.
Ryanair heading 80,
Down at the end there, and we've had one depart in front of us. Just in front.
289,
There he is.
heading 100, descent level 80, and for information you were on present heading normally, so you should have not turned. Heading 100, descent to Grantham, Ryanair 2898. Notice 40 avec la connerie on Golf 1. 3640, taxi left Tango, stand 8 Alpha, bye.
Left Tango, stand 8 Alpha, merci beaucoup, au revoir.
Au revoir. Ryanair 58, please start turning right.
A lot of people being told off by ATC.
Ryanair 2898, continue left heading 095, descent 5000 feet 1014.
I think Ryanair's gone offline. I know he's up there.
160 on the Appalachian 7 Romeo arrival.
Uniform Zulu, Nice, bonjour, identified. Direct typic, descent number 100 RMP Alpha, 04 left or visual.
Just confirm it was direct typic and will be the RNAV for the 04 left approach. I'll send you from Zulu.
69 Uniform Zulu, affirm direct typic, descent level 100.
Direct typic and flight level 100, I'll plan 869 Uniform Zulu.
Charlie, Fox Tango, runway 048, cleared for takeoff, wind 06, 3 knots.
Clear for takeoff 04 right, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. Okay, he actually got my ATC right. ATC call sign right. Let's get going. Let's pray the remote doesn't disconnect on the takeoff.
Ryanair 2895, I confirm descent 5000 feet.
If it does disconnect, I'm screwed.
69 Uniform Zulu, heading established, continue on present heading.
80 knots.
Continue on pattern, altitude 69 Uniform Zulu.
V1, rotate. Positive rate climb, gear up. Not a very steep climb out there. Maintain that. We reduce the thrust a little bit. We should pitch really for speed. There's the turn. Flaps up. Maintain 210, it's telling me. Cleared straight up to 13,000. Slightly off the pink line, that's fine, don't have to be perfect. Let's go ahead and turn our landing lights off. Stick our transponder to altitude. And there we go. And he will pass us, I think, off the Unicorn.
On traverse la 04 gauche, puis Whisky pour Bravo 3, French, baguette 90, classique. Ryanair 2898 on the left heading 080, descend 3000 feet.
080, descend to 3000. Ryanair 2898.
Ryanair 58 Unicom, bye.
Ryanair 58 Unicom, have a good day. This approach green again. Raven 796 Airport 620 at stand 1 to all of information Oscar request clear to Copenhagen.
796, bonjour, et on marque 7 Alpha, score 1000.
Irma 7 Alpha score 1000, Scandinavian 796.
Scandinavian 796, Maybach score 5606 and connect to CDM to submit Unity.
Score 5606, roger.
Please acknowledge at least squawk 5606.
I read back 5606, Scandinavian 6967, correction 796.
Copie. Après, je vais être en édition ici, avec prix aussi. Bravo 3, niveau piste 0 calme droite, autorisé décollage 060 degrés, 3 nœuds. Eh bien, nous sommes prêts, donc 204 droite, autorité décollage, French, baguette à 98, place à Mercier. Charlie Tutu Fox Tango Unicum, bye.
What is Unicom? Take care.
Take care. Ryanair 2898, direct Bisbourg, clear approach.
Okay, let's tell the autopilot. We've been cleared to Unicom. Very, very friendly ATC at Nice Airport. They're always very friendly, so I reduce that thrust down. We're over 10,000 feet. We can exceed 250. We're actually cleared up down to 300 knots, which is reassuring. We'll keep the thrust in there for now, but we'll reduce it when we get a bit closer to the speed. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that hand-flown departure. It's an extremely good airport if you're on, X-Plane 12 or VATSIM with X-Plane 12 or even Microsoft Flight Simulator. Try the airport, try the ATC because it's ace. It's 5-star service. The French, particularly the ones who are on the VATSIM network when I'm there, are always really, really friendly. They're always very good at the jobs. And, some people do get a bit of a telling off, but that's normal on VATSIM. If you've played it before, you'll encounter that it's a bit like that. Sometimes people make mistakes, and they get called out for it. So yeah, we'll be flying, I said Genoa. I don't know if that's the actual pronunciation, but it's in Italy. We're not going to be crossing the border into Italy until... well, not just yet, until we get to probably this part actually, then we're in Milan control. So our airport is up here on the map, we're on the coast, and then we're flying north to Milan, of course. So let's go ahead and reduce the thrust. It says that the target thrust is here for the cruise, but that's well too high. Standard pressure set. Let's make sure we do have to take our checklist. Everything is normal. I've stuck the anti-ice on, the windshield heat and things on as well, because it's now -9 outside, so not too bad. I've limited the frame rate. You'll notice it won't go above 65 just to make sure there's no issues with the stream. The ATC was good. I've said that. Done departure, done the checks. So I'll let you guys enjoy the flight. I'm going to hop off just for a second to use the restroom. Okay, I've returned. That small box on screen is the controller. It means it's disconnected. Now, thankfully, we've not had any issues on takeoff so far, just a little bit of an issue on the ground, so I might be slightly rough with the remote, maybe that's the issue. Cruising at 13,000 feet, we are following vertical navigation and then lateral navigation. For some reason we've gone off course. Let's select FMS, that would help. So, flight management system. I didn't even have it selected, so let's follow. We're only slightly off anyway. And then we're getting into Italy soon. When we land in Italy, in the airport, you'll see how beautiful it is. And that gives us a chance to just have a quick break as well and pre-file the next flight, which will be on to Milan. I think we'll be cruising at the same altitude on the next leg of the journey. It's slightly longer flight, I'm just looking at the maps. So it's a relatively short flight from Nice to Genoa, and then up from Genoa to Milan is quite a bit longer, not too much, but about double the time. I think it's just the long approach into the airport which is causing it to be so long. You can always change it though to something a bit easier. I think there's going to be a lot of mountainous terrain, that's the issue. It's kind of like Innsbruck in that sense. If you're looking for a Monaco, and I have tried to fly Monaco before, terrible scenery. If you want that kind of thing, and you want something like Monaco with better scenery, go to Genoa, because it has everything you need. It's got the yachts, it's got the cars, it's got the houses, you know, it's got everything there, scenery wise. Runway in use is number 10. Yeah, so it's got everything you need in terms of scenery. The actual runway itself is cool because it's right on the edge of the coast. We will be landing next to the water, so it's very, very, very awesome. I'm going to upload a video of my approach and landing that I did the other night. It was a night landing, and you'll be able to watch that soon. So we've only got 77 kilos of baggage, but we were supposed to have 157. We can increase it for the next leg. We still got the same amount of passengers, but we'll be, I think they're picking up some business files or something, or I don't know, contracts. I know there's a couple of lawyers on board and they got a few business files, so they're probably working out a deal or something, probably negotiating for the next business acquisition. If you're wondering, there is in-flight entertainment. Let me just show you. If you got this switch down here, which is on. You check in the cabin, it should technically be on, the lights and the TVs, but you do have to fiddle around with it to get it to work sometimes. So it's still not working. I'm not really sure how to get it on. It did work earlier when I selected it, but it's temperamental. We'll leave it on anyway. If it turns on, it turns on. Okay, we left fuel pump boost on. We should really put them down to normal. And ignition is normal, but I don't know if that's actually normal itself for the operation of the aircraft, or you have to turn it off. If I turn it off, it's probably not going to make too much of a difference. In like the 737, you would have ignition on continuous for landing and takeoff. So it could be the same principle with the Cessna Citation X. I mean, look at the terrain though, fantastic. It's a fantastic looking place. Highly recommend the south of France for flying and visiting. A little light rain, but nothing to dampen the spirits. Okay, next flight, the next leg of the flight is going to be up to 30,000 feet. And our alternative airport is Bologna, or Bologna. Another name that is a bit unpronounceable in Italy. They got very strange names there, no offence to them. And that alternate is actually near Florence, so... Very, very close to the airport. We're actually coming inbound now. For some reason we're not following our flight plan. I have no idea what's going on. We've gone off track yet again on it, so let's disengage that and just fly. That's very, very concerning. Maybe we skipped a leg. Let's go direct to Aniki. Very, very peculiar. It might be because we turned off course and we didn't turn back on course. There's the approach. There, you just see the terrain down there, and when we get closer, you can see how beautiful it is. Minus the rain, of course. Real world time and weather. Okay, so this airport is peculiar. Every time I select an approach, it doesn't connect with the runway. I have to re-enter it and re-enter it again, which is a bit of a pain. It's the Exito 1 November approach. We go on to navigation, arrival. We've already got it selected, but it's not on the map. We'll select the approach, ILS. Now when I did it offline it gave me ILS Zulu, so we'll follow the same one. There we go. It's giving us the arrival. And I think that is the go round. Oh no, sorry, that is the actual arrival. We're sort of right at the runway. You probably can't see it from this angle. So we're going to fly just slightly up towards Exito, just there, and then we'll join it from that point on. We're not really follow the flight plan, which is a pain, a little bit unprofessional. We could probably skip them and just go straight to that. So once we get on track there, I'll select the autopilot again and hopefully it works. We'll start descending to 11,000 feet. Final approach, 4,000, then 2,000 for the glide slope. That's the top of descent, ironically, so when we get to the top of descent, we can go down to 9,000 feet. I'll select it now. We're already going relatively slowly. Slow down to 291 knots. Seems a bit of hit and miss with those TVs. I'm going to try and have a look online later, see what the issue is with them, and get them to function. I should be the interception heading for the autopilot, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then from about 9,000 feet to 4,000 feet at MJ 416. Let's try navigation now, let's see if it locks on. So we're taking a turn to the left, hopefully that takes us to the destination waypoint. Slowing our speed down now so we can actually intercept it correctly, and we'll start to add some slats as well, so I'll add 1 notch of slats. There's only 1 notch available, and then I'll put 5 knots, 5 degrees once we get to about 250. There's 5 degrees of flaps. Okay, we're turning the wrong way. I really hope this was going to work. I have no idea why it won't do it. Really don't. No issues when I was offline, but of course, when you're online, everything goes wrong. Just use the heading bug for now and try and align with it again. I've been doing it manually so far. We've got glide slope 1 in there already. You see we made a bit of a convoluted route there around the airport. Not the best, but then again I've done the approach before, and we come down across a very nice beautiful terrain area for the ILS 28. As you can see, it looks beautiful already. Descend down to 4,000. $219 is the target speed. If you reduce the throttle, the thrust, it will descend quicker to maintain it. So I'm going to do that now. Let's get down nice and quick. Strange rain effect there. Is that normal? Must just be the windshield effects. Looks very strange though. I thought it was a bird strike. Anyway, heavy rain, temperatures increase, so I'm going to disengage. I think there's something going on with the rain because I can hear it. That's incredible, the effect. You can actually hear the rain and how strong it is outside. Anyway, I'm going to turn the anti-ice off. Windshields can stay off as well. In terms of the air, we'll leave the heaters and the pitot heaters on still. Very, very cool. It actually sounds like it's raining. I've never heard that before in another aircraft. It seems to be just be the Citation it's happened in. Okay, success. The Alno is actually working. Thank goodness we hand flew that departure. And when we get slow down and closer, we'll put navigation on both. We've had the ILS frequency. I've written it down. It's 109. Oh crap! Excuse me. With import look rudder there. 109.3. Exit 01 November arrival. Approach for ILS Zulu 28. Landing lights on. All the other lights looking good. I will stick the tail light on soon when we get when we do departure, because it's going slightly into the evening now. A bit more cloud cover. We need the visibility. Well, fantastic airport. This is the amazing approach. You go over the mountainside and then can't quite see the scenery, but when you get closer there's some amazing scenery down there, and the airport is just there alongside the water. I'm gonna go down to 2000. Should be the ILS. Yeah, final 2000 feet. No auto throttle on the aircraft, unfortunately, so it's all hand-driven throttles. There's no option to turn the computer on. We're going to arm. I've been arming the speed brakes. I'm not sure if it actually works. We just press my quick pad number when I land, and it should deploy them. There we go. There's that turn to final. Descend down to 2,000 feet. Maintaining 195s. We're just about the right speed. Give them a call. We're on final. We'll let them know our intention to land. See, even the scenery here is looking pretty good. A nice little town down there. The outskirts of the city. Or the outskirts of something. Shame about the weather though. Hope you brought your hats and coats, everyone. Seatbelt signs. Landing lights on. Flaps 15. We're ready to land. We've deployed landing gear. We're a bit closer in. We've got a little bit of a distance. There's the beautiful runway in front, right in front of the sun. So we can't quite see it. Fantastic port though. When we land, you'll see all the yachts. It looks amazing. Do you know where traffic Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tangle is final for runway 28? Might be able to say final ILS. I suppose it doesn't matter really if you're on final or you're on final. We've got a centre on the line, so we may be able to contact them for our next clearance for the next duration of flight. We had an observer that I didn't even realise. We had somebody observing something. I don't know if that was me or another member or whatever, but they seem to be watching what's happening. You'll notice the ILS has already not come available yet. We're not quite on the intercept height for the approach. This thing, I have caught it quite early before, so hopefully we can catch it again. Now the approach in here is slightly off to the left, so don't worry, we'll get to the runway and you'll see we're slightly off to the left. I'll take control and we just realign to the right. I don't know if that's because the ILS is broke or because there's a misalignment or something. It might just be the standard approach, you know, for this airport. So that's 2,000 feet. Let's select the we're miles away still. I was going to say select navigation, and that'll switch us to the glide slope localizer. Let's go ahead and select it anyway, and that should line us up. You'll see down there VREF has come up, so it's 130. You can double check here, performance. So yeah, about 120, 130 I'd say. If you want to add a little bit on, be a little bit safe. We're carrying a very rich people. Controls gone again. Okay, there's a glide slope. Green line, and then we'll start to descend when we lock on. If we select approach, you'll notice the green glide, the glide slope is now activated on the gear down. Distance is about 5 nautical miles. And flaps full. So there's the runway, coming in nice and on target. If we need to go around, we'll go straight up to 2,000 feet. 1,000 feet, I'm a bit low considering my other approaches went well. We've still got 2 PABI lights, white and red. Let's just increase the speed a bit. Now if I disengage the autopilot from this point, we can hand fly the approach, which is usually what I do because we're not, as I mentioned, we're not quite lined up with the runway. Let's go ahead and do that. Now we're following the, not necessarily the PABI lights, we're following the PABI, but we're also following the ILS diamond on the ADI as well. Speed can just be as it is, thrust is absolutely fine. Using only trim at the moment just to control that altitude. You can see there's a bit of terrain. I think that might be why the ILS is not quite as accurate as it could be. Slightly low.
300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20,
Not as smooth as my other landings, I'm not going to lie, but it's still a good landing. Straight down the middle. Reverse thrusts are so powerful on this, you can stop literally within the first turnout, which is fantastic. They're that powerful, you could reverse this thing, literally reverse it, and it would go fast backwards as well. Okay, this is stowed away. Flaps are retracted. Let's go ahead and park at the gate or something. Landing lights off, taxi lights on. Beacon strobes can come off, but beacon stays on. Transponder to leave it on ATC on, we won't turn it off just yet. Going down to VIP parking tonight. Executive parking, that is. This is an executive flight for executives. We're taxiing down. I know the area is in November, and this little area at the end is ideal for this aircraft. I have been put over to the right, but that's more for airliners. We're carrying some expensive cargo, as I mentioned. We also need to do a few checks on the aircraft before we depart for our next legs. We've got typical Ryanair there. I don't think that's another player though. There's no other aircraft at the airport. We're literally the only person here. Hope you enjoyed the first sector of the flight. The next sector is going to be in about 10 minutes. I'll take a 5-minute break. I'll let everyone stretch the legs and get some fresh air before we continue. People are probably going to want to nip into the canteen, I suspect, and get the passport stamped before we move on. Okay, there's no spaces over there. I thought there might have been one available next to one of these Cirrus Vision jets. We'll keep going to the end, there might be one down here. You can always park off to the left. It would have been nice on the tarmac. There is one space available. We're taking the wrong turn, but we can do it from this angle, no non-matter, and that way we can taxi straight out as well. There we go. So for the time being, the engines are not coming off, but I'm going to stick stick the aircraft in a sort of low function state. So standby power, I think you're meant to leave that on. It's quite annoying to hear it, so I turned it off. We'll leave the fuel pumps ignition off, fuel pumps normal. As you can see, flight plan is completed. We'll load the next one in a second. Pitot heats off, window heats off. So I think that's about it for this sector. Let me open the back door for them all. So people can hop off and get themselves a refreshment, and I'm going to get one as well. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Turn the taxi lights off first. Alright, be back in 5 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cessna Citation X executive Saturday evening flight. We're on our last stretch now to Milan. Welcome aboard. We've had a few changeovers. Two gentlemen got off the plane with big briefcases and they continued on to wherever it is they're going. So the door is closing. There's a heck of a loud engine. We have still got two people. The two that went off were replaced by two other gentlemen. Again in suits. Two of them. We've already got two people on board who are wearing shorts and t-shirts. I think it was the lawyers who got off, so they must be doing business. 1,000 feet to Milan. LIMJ 6 Echo departure and then arrival Devon 3 Hotel. Let's do this. It did give me the wrong runway departure, but as you can see it's 28 and QNH is still 1014. We didn't set it on landing, but that's our problem, isn't it? So 1014. Let's just adjust the cabin pressurization. There we go. And the sort of backup altitude indicator is functional as well. And I forgot my blooming water, so excuse me for 1 second. We are going to get departing pretty much straight away. There's no ATC available here. I'm going to be using the Unicom for communications. I have downloaded the flight plan, but I'm not going to do an upload. I'm going to do it slightly differently so you can see how we install it into the FMC manually. So, as you can see, there's no one at the airport. We're alone. We don't even have any aircraft in the vicinity other than up here to the north, which is going to be where we're flying. So, ignoring the top part, let's paste the route in here so you can see it. So this is the route. Now, we're going to select FMS before we go, unlike last time we forgot. Runway 28 departure. If we go back to navigation, flight plan, we can get rid of that. No such file. So I'm not sure how to clear that. Invert, perhaps. Navigation. Lima Indigo India Mike Juliet. Not even typing it in. Negative index requested. Can't even clear that out the system. Don't know how to get rid of that at all. Maybe we should load up the plan I've got. So we're going to LIMC Lima India Mike Charlie. I will preload it, sorry about this. I'll preload it and then we can just alter the route as planned. So it's not runway 10 as you see, it's runway 28. Don't know what this negative index thing is, it's not coming up, it's not clearing it. That's a pain. Departure, runway 28. 6 Echo. Activate that. And the arrival. Let's get my notepad open. Is, as I said, the Devo 3 Hotel. Probably the standard. I don't know if I'm flying the actual correct routes or standard departures on this one because there's no ATC to give us the updated information. You would think that SimBrief would give it to you, but it doesn't always do that. Navigation, arrival. So it's already selected the correct approach. So we can initialize our position. Performance. Confirm. There's V1. It's 125. It should pop up down here. There it is. 125. That'll give us a reference on the takeoff. So that's it. I'm not sure what's going on with this thing down here. I don't know how to get rid of it, but that's us ready to taxi already. So the second sector begins now. Taxi lights on. What else did we turn off in intermission? So we'll stick the pitos back on. And the window heat and the air just in advance. It's 18 degrees inside, so it's fairly warm. Lights looking good, fuel's looking decent. And of course, welcome aboard. Any new faces, and to the familiar as well. Get going. It's a very, very cool plane. I'm not gonna lie, this is the Ferrari tail Lamborghini of the skies. Absolutely. And we're in Italy as well. How fitting. Yeah, so the lights and the TV screens have actually come on now. Fantastic. We had a bit of an issue earlier getting it to work. It's now come on, so people can watch TV, they can use the internet. And they can see. I was just thinking it might just be a time thing because it's slightly sunset now. So, of course, the cabin's going to need lighting. A lot of Vision jets, and looks like a King Air just parked there. Navigation, vertical navigation can go on to armed. Yaw dampers are already on. FMS is selected, so hopefully it's going to follow the route. Crack the lights up a little bit. We have map lights above, or we have the as you can see, it's going darker, so the panel's lighting up slightly. Ryanair again looking very slick. British Airways looks like a 777. Ryanair really does fly to this airport in real life. That's a real world ops, this airline. I'm not sure about the others. I'm not sure if British Airways does. I haven't seen any flights by them. I know KLM might, but it'll be with a changeover. A lot of these airlines probably don't actually fly to this airport, despite it being, you know, quite big. Okay, we'll be taxiing down Mike, I believe it is. Taxiway Mike. Yeah, and then Mike Golf. We don't need to go up to the end, there's no backtracking, so we're just going to depart straight out onto runway 28. Standard instrument departure. Target speed after takeoff is 195. Let's select it to roll and take off. We'll arm the vertical navigation as well. Very quick to taxi in, of course, you'll notice that's the main difference. Just realised there's a parking space just hidden at the back there, some kind of private area. Might have been worth parking in, to be honest, right next to the runway. Beautiful skies, look at that. At least the rain stopped and it's not raining on the ground. Beautiful, it's going to be a fantastic departure, everyone. Make sure you got your cameras ready. You notice the seatbelt signs have remained on duration. So landing lights on, strobes on. Absolutely incredible. Make sure we're tuned into the ATC. Genoa traffic, good evening. Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango, taking off runway 28. Let's get going. Controls. Pray that it doesn't disconnect on departure. Still not working. No, it's done it again. Unbelievable. I think I'm going to invest in a yoke system. The Xbox wired controller seems to be, it's not permanently wired, it seems to just keep disconnecting. So hopefully in the next, hopefully I can invest in one of those soon. So we're lined up to advance the throttles. Full. Hang on, we got a warning, my mistake. Let's actually set our flaps. So it's always good to do that kind of check before you get onto the runway. You can simply advance it like that and it will give you a oh, and of course we've shut the bloody engines down. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Nothing seems to go right on this. A nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Your very expensive flight, which costs 22,000 euros, is being ballsed up by an overpaid charter pilot. Thank goodness we had backup power on. Let's get the APU generator on. I think when it doesn't really give you the option. For some reason, if you turn the thrust to idle, throttle to idle, it will disconnect it and shut it down. So I think there should be a safety there, especially if you're using a mouse. You shouldn't be able to drag it beyond it unless you press a certain button. So APU's coming back online. Goodness, hope there's no one else on. Got another aircraft here, but looks like we got one flying over. Thankfully nobody on final. Engines aren't even coming online now. APU's on. The ignition's off, of course. Let's get this started as quickly as possible. Anyway, flaps are set 5 degrees. The ignition came back on there normal. Okay, the engines have come alive, so there's no issues there, that's good. ready for takeoff finally. V1 rotate. For some reason it tends to reduce the thrust for you down to cruise rather than climb. Anyway, gear up. Cockpit's looking beautiful, scenery's looking amazing. No add-ons by the way, it's just the vanilla game. Straight up to 30,000 feet. Convoluted departure that we have to take a turn to the left before our departure to the right. Flaps up. Stick our lateral and vertical navigations on. And flaps fully retracted. We increase speed now to 250. Very steep turn on departure.
Bank angle.
And a course controller again. Gone off. Thank goodness the aircraft is fairly stable on the in terms of its controls. Once you've got it stabilised, it doesn't tend to wobble a lot. Look at that down there, incredible. This is what I'm talking about in terms of scenery. And of course there'll be all the yachts and things, and it's just incredible. It really is. They made a good effort on this particular city compared to some of the others. Of course, 30,000 feet. If anyone knows how to get rid of that negative index requested, that'd be great to let me know. We're going to go up to 30,000. We can't follow the VNAV because we can't change. Well, I suppose we can. We can't go up to 30,000 with VNAV. We just have to do it with flight level change. Stay the autopilot on and see if it'll do it. So it's already pitching down. Landing lights off. Anti-eyes on. A lovely cruise this evening. What a lovely and beautiful sun in the background there. Amazing. This is what makes this aircraft special. Not just the location, just everything about this experience is executive and first class. It really is. Almost like we're flying through the sun. Trying to get a good glimpse. I mean, look at that. Everyone take a screenshot, save that to your desktop. I am. Incredible. And of course, we'll be going back over the airport area just down there somewhere. Slight turbulence. Quite heavy turbulence. There's nothing up on the radar though, there's no weather issues. As you can see, we've had to do a bit of a complicated turn there for departure, and then we'll be back heading up to the north to Milan. Yeah, no weather on there. We've got traffic in front. That's where the little blue diamond is. No TCAS alert though, so we're fine for now. Almost at the cruising altitude of 300. I think we're in the storm, literally in the eye of the storm right now. I didn't realise it was going to be this bad. The passengers look nice and comfy and snug and protected, but they're absolutely scared to death right now. They're probably thinking they should have gone Ryanair. 22,000 euros to be in a storm. Standard pressure. There's that aircraft. I'm assuming that was an aircraft we just saw zooming past. Could be something else. He's in a, looks like a four engine propeller aircraft. I don't know what that could be. Maybe an ATR or something, or a Fokker, if they're still even flying. Who knows? Quite a few aircraft actually are popping up on the radar, but nothing up on the map. Nothing nearby anyway. Going to increase the speed to about 300. Need to push through this storm. I think there's a minimum speed as well. You can pierce the turbulent air. I can't remember what it is. I know it's pretty fast though. This is brutal, not going to lie. I think the aircraft is going to suffer. We definitely need an inspection, that's for sure. The just the debris from the storm itself could damage. There's enough to damage the engines. If there's ice in it, there will be ice at this level as well. It's minus 47 outside. There we go. Just about pierced the clouds. We're at 300. Reduce that for us to cruise now. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's go ahead and switch the fasten seatbelt signs off. Just as we do it, the turbulence picks up again. Then we're going to have to keep everybody in the seats.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
A convoluted approach indeed. Look at this. It's got us going in a little bit of a roller coaster. So down, yeah, up, down, around. Turn to the right, then turn to the left. Not a very long flight at all, but it's just this part here that seems to be convoluted. I don't think the approach has even been programmed into the thing. Select runway 17. ILS, let's try Zulu like it was at the last airport. There we go. So we can connect the arrival to the approach. Cruise thrust, pierce through it.
Bank angle.
Should really be selecting half bank at this point. Just makes the flight a little bit more comfortable. If you are enjoying this, of course, we do a regular stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday in Europe. usually in the 737, but I've been becoming so used to the Citation X, I might make that my go-to aircraft in the future. Next flight will be on Monday. It'll be in Istanbul, Turkey to Georgia Tbilisi Airport. My goodness, look at those wings. Look at them flexing in the turbulence. Oh my goodness. I bet the passengers are looking outside and thinking they're gonna die. Oh man, this must be awful. What an executive flight this is. Cool. Would not want to be on this. But unfortunately, I'm the one flying the blooming aircraft. All these seats are occupied, by the way. We can't see anybody, but they're occupied. We've got 8 passengers on board. We do have one flight attendant, but she's, I think she's in the bathroom being sick. Can't forgive her really. She should be at the front sitting down in her seat. And we've gone off course. The turbulence is that bad. We've gone off course. I don't have a clue why. That's a little bit concerning, so let's go ahead, and this is why it's super important to keep an eye on your waypoints and especially your map. I can barely press the FMC. It's that bad. Oh my goodness. We're supposed to be going inland and then after us Vafra. There we go. So that should take us back on track, I hope. I can't see any route. I don't actually know what's happening at the moment. The aircraft is, the FMC is a bit broken. The turbulence is that bad as well. We can't really do much at this altitude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce. We're just about breaking through it as well. I was going to say reduce our power and get down to a low altitude. We could go direct to final at this point. Oh yeah, let's try that. LNAV still engaged. A lot of disconnections in that flight plan on the map. I don't know if there's actual disconnection or not. So we're supposed to be descending right now down to a lower altitude. Let's go down to 15,000 feet. We need to scout out the terrain as well. And make sure there's no mountains, because it seems like this is quite a mountainous area. We're actually right above the airport, pretty much. Lima India Mike Charlie. We're actually at Milan, everybody. Welcome. If we manage to make this landing on time and safely, it'll be a miracle. Okay, FMC won't align correctly, so fingers crossed it's going to work. Let's go straight down to say 6,000 feet. I think we're all manual at this point. Well, we're using the autopilot. It's too risky to fly it. Hand flow it at the moment. Hand fly it at the moment. So we're going to turn heading bug on. I'm going to follow it that way to final. Yeah, completely broken the FMC. Still got the arrival in there. ILSZ. A bit mixed up about what's actually happening. Oh, I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's a lot of terrain down here. We're really going to be careful at this point. Literally idling the engines as well, and we're maintaining about 33% N1. So very powerful indeed. I can see why we had a convoluted approach though through the mountains. Amazing view. It's almost like something out of a fantasy movie. Of course, skiing in the north of Italy. Fantastic. Let's get our ILS programmed in. 11175. I'm going to hand fly it. This is well too risky, I think, to be using autopilot. Stick approach in preparation for London. Good thing about the Citation is you can actually descend very, very rapidly, and it's not going to cause any significant issues. It's certainly not going to cause an overspeed unlike the 737, and it's certainly not going to shear the wings off or something. So we turn into this point, the pink line, which will take us down to the runway. Speed brakes, slow us down a little bit. Put the slats. Traffic straight ahead apparently. So there's this is why I want to fly hand fly this. It's obviously a fantastic area, but very, very, you know, high up. Set local pressure. So 115 or 1015. Keep an eye out for the runway. That could be it in the distance. Like there's 2 runways available. Or 3 of them. 5 degrees of flaps, nice and early. See Milan down there, Milano. Various parts of the city. Milano Malpensa. See, this aircraft in front may be going on the same approach as us, so we've really got to keep our eyes peeled for other aircraft in the vicinity. Runway 17 left. Bearing in mind this is completely hand flown at this point and there's no input on the controls and the aircraft is steady, as you can see, very smooth on its straight and level flight there. Probably more like easier to control, I'd say, than the 737 is, 100%. Okay, anti-ice can come off. Put the tail lights on. There's the runway. Descend down to 2,500 feet to intercept the localizer. Wrong button, excuse me. So this is not going to the same airport. I'm not sure what they're actually doing. We're coming down to 27, so the right down there. Don't have any ATIS, we don't have ATC, I'm just double checking, make sure I'm not breaking the VATSIM rules. Pretty sure there's no ATC, so I'm going to remain on Unicom for the time being. Incredible city, another incredible place that's been modelled to a high standard. A lot of buildings, a lot of scenery in Milano there. As you can see, the city's all lit up. If I select the navigation and approach, hopefully it will follow it. Let's see. Nope. So the line there is not even connected to the final. We're supposed to be on final now. Let's try it that way. Give it one more chance. If not, we'll go in our hand flown at this point. Unfortunately, we had a success with it landing in Genoa Airport, but not in Milano, unfortunately. Well too high up now as well. Oh well. We're doing emergency descent. Was going well, we sort of balls it up. Malpensa traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango, final runway 17. 17 left. Hey, look at that. You got some incredible too distracted by that motorway down there, as we call it in the UK. People are going to look at this approach path and think I'm completely crazy. So here we are, just about a little bit high up, just about on final. Landing lights on. Strong crosswind here. There's the puppy light, so we did make it just in time. It was a terrible approach, but hopefully the landing will pull it back a little bit. There's no less glide slope coming up on the ADI. It's always a little bit concerning.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reverse. Just lower that nose very gently, indeed. There we go. So ultimately, that was a great landing, as usual. Thank you very much. Can hear people in the background clapping. Just a terrible approach. Probably wouldn't have done that kind of approach in real life. Milano traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango, clear runway 017 left. So we can taxi down now to a parking space, hopefully. Everyone's keen to get off this flight. Of course, stand by on that. Everything's looking pretty good though. Everything went sort of as planned in the end. If you've enjoyed it, of course, please show your support. Seems to be a bit of general aviation parking over on the right, so we take a right and go and park over there. Usually where you see propeller aircraft, it will be general aviation, including Cessna's Cessna Citations, just over on the right there on November. So that space is occupied. Let's go ahead and park in this one. Straight down and we can go next to the King Airs. So this seems like a private terminal. Very cool lighting as well in the cockpit. Now I want to shut it down, there we go. Got it shut down, turn all the fuel stuff off. No need to take the APU on, the emergency lights can come on. Ignition and all that can go off. Probably don't even have the standby power on, to be honest. P2s could have come off. Landing. Of course, strobe should have come off for taxiing. Turn the beacons off, there's no engines running. Packs. Tail flood in a second. I'll leave the tail flood and the tail flood on, but I'll turn the navigation lights off. So we can see the external look of the aircraft, hopefully. Oh, man. My back is a little bit sore from that flight. There's so much turbulence in it. Look at the effects. Let's go and hop out of the plane. Let's say au revoir to our guests. A lot of famous people, rich people, I'm suspecting. So yeah, this has been a very, very interesting sector to fly. We flew, of course, from Nice to Genoa and then Genoa to Milano. I think it's a very good sector. 2 sectors in total. It's taken a lot longer than I expected. Probably just completed a layover for about 5 minutes. If you want to give the approaches a crap rating, you can. If you want to get a good rating, that's appreciated as well. Thank you for flying with us this evening.
Established runway 35 right, 10 miles.
Yeah, thank you for flying with me today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care and have a fantastic evening.